We've got the Christmas jumper on. It's time to run the Christmas specials.
Ho, 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 ho.
A very Merry Christmas to you all if you celebrate it. This is the last video of 2024 and I thought why not end it with a bit of festivitiness of ranking the specials, Doctor Who specials, New Who style. Few technicalities to get out of the way. I'm only ranking 5, and I know there is more than 5, but I'm only including Christmas specials that are pure there for Christmassy-ness. What I mean by that is David Tennant's first episode, which was technically a Christmas special, Peter Capaldi's last episode, which was technically a Christmas special, and Matt Smith's last episode, which was technically a Christmas special, are not included in this list because this is a pure Christmas video. This is all about how well the episodes did based on purely from a Christmas story, not from it being in the background to have the Doctor generating or the Doctor's first episode as the main arc of the story, because that is kind of cheating a little bit and that's not a pure Christmas story. It's just kind of Matt Smith's going to regenerate, here's a Christmas story to make it different. I'm not going to be focusing on that, I'm going to be focusing purely on the Christmas style of episodes. So we have 5 to rank and we're going to start off at number 5. The Doctor, the Widow and the Wardrobe. This is easily the most forgettable Christmas special from Doctor Who. Now, a little bit of a FYI, I do not like Christmas specials generally, and I'm also a little bit of a Scrooge at Christmas time. But I'm trying. Look, I've got a Christmas jumper on. I'm in the most festive you're ever going to see me. This episode offers more or less nothing. The story is very, very weak. Anything that I like are the little things, like the ending. So the ending is when the Doctor goes to Amy and Rory's house, the lovely blue door, and we see him shed a tear when Amy and Rory want him to come in for Christmas. And this is such a beautiful moment for Matt Smith's incarnation, the 11th Doctor, because he is not really someone that we see showing that type of emotion very much. So to see a moment like that stuck with me, and I felt, it wasn't like a bad cry, it was just tears of happiness, tears of emotion, that I am wanted, people do like me type of vibe, and I think that it was beautiful across screen. It was a really nice way to end it. The other nice moment from the actual story and the characters that we got, I love when the dad comes home. It was kind of we kind of knew it was going to happen when he was sent out to war, and we saw that he came back and everybody was happy. But apart from that, I think the children and the other I just think the characters overall up until that point, and this kind of weird thing that was going on, I couldn't really explain it. It was rubbish, putting it bluntly. The ending makes it something to look forward to, I guess. The number 4 is Last Christmas. Again, not a huge amount happens, but this is probably the darkest Christmas special we have, kind of the scariest one that we have. I really do like the characters. There's a lot more characters in this kind of group that we are put with, and I think they're all very explained fantastically. I think they all have their own little part to the story. They're all very, very different from each other, and I think the character development for them really worked with what the story was going on about. Was everybody dreaming? Was everybody awake? That was kind of like a really good, a bit like Amy's Choice. You didn't quite know what was real and what wasn't. I kind of like that. That's where the darkness came in. But then also we found out where each character actually belongs, where each character, what their real life is, which got us a good concept of what they're like. And then what we see of them dreaming, what do they wish they were like? What do they dream about? That tells you a lot about a character as well. So all of that built up to make great character development, and I do love the dream sequences as well. I think whilst all this horror is going on with these kind of, I don't know what they call, like brain type things on people's faces, everyone's having a lovely dream, and then dreams are kind of, they certainly mess with your brain. This is certainly a Stephen Moffat messing with your brain type episode, but it's nice and it is Christmassy as well. And of course, Santa is in this, a very prominent figure with his elves. I think that's amazing, it works pretty well. Moffat writes Santa fantastically. But let's move up then to number 3, The Runaway Bride. This is manic, this is crazy, and it's got Donna Noble in it, so you wouldn't expect any more. Yes, this is Donna's first appearance in Doctor Who, and she's certainly a lot to take in. She was not controversial, but she's just generally quite I felt like quite a Marmite character to begin with, because she was very in your face, very outspoken, very, well, chavvy if you like. So it was certainly different to what we had from Rose, and I do think she is a lot different in Series 4. She's more toned down, still has them outspoken and crazy character moments, but they're only moments. In this episode, it's very sort of every single minute we are kind of getting it, and it kind of does make sense with the current circumstances that we're in this episode, because Donna was about to get married, and then suddenly she's thrown across space into the Doctor's TARDIS, and then you got these Santa robots that are kidnapping her. So, you know, how would you react in them situations? You'd be a little bit like, well, what is going on? This is also really interesting because whilst Last Christmas was a dark story overall, The Runaway Bride is a little bit of like the darker sort of tone that I quite like that we get with the 10th Doctor, David Tennant, where we basically see, as much as the spider person, it's not person, is it? The spider being alien was bad, the Doctor does drown her and her children. So when she's screaming out for my children, Donna looks at the Doctor and thinks, you know, looks at him a little bit differently, like, is this the man that I'm potentially going to start travelling with? Is this the man that I'm getting to know and friends with? I think the Doctor's reaction says it all. He has no remorse, and it's a really interesting concept that even though the Doctor is defeating a bad person, that bad person has still got children, and yet again it's still quite harrowing in their moments to hear her screaming as she drowns of all of her children. So that was definitely a bit of a shock, but it was Christmassy, you can't fault that. So number 2 is Voyage of the Damned. Like last Christmas, we had a lot of Christmas things thrown in your face, like Santa Clauses and Christmas trees and all of that. This one is a bit more the out and out Christmas visuals that we get, but I think it's a great story idea, having the Titanic on in space, having these angels which turn into sort of, or saints, whatever you want to call them, sort of turning bad. But Kylie Minogue really does steal this as well. I think she's an amazing companion for the Doctor. Her death is incredibly sad. The Doctor's great here as well. I think, again, I mean, it's kind of a bit more action-packed, a bit more sort of like a Doctor Who episode, but I kind of like it. But it's not my favourite Christmas special, and this one beats it by quite a bit, and that is A Christmas Carol. Now, I love when Doctor Who takes things like The Waters of Mars and turns them into water zombies. A Christmas Carol, which has been adapted many, many times, fantastic movies have come from it, and it's probably one of the most well-known, well, it is probably the most well-known Christmas story out there. And Doctor Who has twisted it to make it timey-wimey, to make it amazing. I think Stephen Moffat needs to be praised massively here. Amy and Rory at the start, it was manic. Amy came out in a police costume, Rory coming out as Rory the Roman, and there's some very subtle sex jokes. I think it works. Moffat's comments over the years regarding sex jokes in episodes have always come under a little bit of scrutiny, because sometimes they come out of nowhere and they're just put in there for, you know, to make people laugh, but then it kind of, like, why would that character say that? So more questions come of it than people enjoying it. But with a Christmas special, you can get away with it because it's a Christmas special and you can say whatever the hell you want, and it's always cheesy anyway. Michael Gambon makes this amazing. God rest his soul. The late Michael Gambon as Scrooge is perfection. Perfect piece of casting. He portrays this grumpy, old, privileged man very, very well, but he also really does show the audience him having a good time. And I think as Dumbledore in Harry Potter, he is quite often that type of figure where he is serious and he has to keep Hogwarts together, but at the same time he is there for Harry, he's there to support Harry, and we see him defend them a lot. I get that a lot in A Christmas Carol as well. I'm trying to draw the link, is that he plays a very almost like damaged, just a grumpy bar humbug Scrooge, and turns into such a jolly old man who you see the realisation in his face when he realises what he's like and how much joy there is to get from Christmas. It's exceptionally Christmassy in this as well. I think from the beginning, after the opening titles, it's like a town of Christmasness. It's fantastic. And of course the love story is very, very nice. It's almost to a point where the 11th Doctor is kind of third wheeling, where he arranges a marriage of Marilyn Monroe. Love them moments. And the Doctor makes some amazing quotes in this special, and they're quite deep as well. On the lines of, in my 900 years of travelling time and space, I've never met anyone who's not important, and that was retaliating to Scrooge. So I think that was a lovely quote from the Doctor, which really shows how much of a massive figure he is to have that much years of experience in travelling, to then say he's never met someone who's not important. And that is a very open-ended quote, because it doesn't mean they're good or they're bad, but they're important in some way. And that's kind of nice. It makes you realise that there are good people and there are bad people, but everyone's important. So that's a really, really nice quote. So overall, that is my favourite Christmas special. Shout out to I'm Gonna Get Killed by a Christmas Tree by Jackie Tyler. She doesn't make it onto the list because of the episode that it's in. But that's probably the most iconic Christmas quote ever, not only on Doctor Who, but on television itself. Let me know what you think about my ranking. But of course, we'll see how Joy to the World does. Where would it rank in this list? I'm not going to be reacting to that probably until January, because I'm going home. So that's going to be quite a late sort of review. So, but that will be coming out at some point. But for now, have a fantastic rest of the year. Happy Christmas, Happy New Year's, and I'll see you all for 2025 and what an exciting year it's going to be, not only for this channel, but of course for the show as well. We have some different videos coming up. We've got kind of some more like essay type videos where I sort of douge into like some controversial opinions. I'm not going to tell you them, but that type of thing, it's going to be very, very different. I'm very, very excited. Stick around, subscribe if you are new, and give this video a like. That helps me out massively. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.